Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While still more people gathered in the crowd, Jesus said to them, "This generation is an evil generation. It seeks a sign, but no sign will be given it, except the sign of Jonah. Just as Jonah became a sign to the Ninevites, so the Son of Man be to this generation. At the judgment, the Queen of the South will rise with the men of this generation, and she will condemn them, because she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And there's something greater than Solomon here. At the judgment, the men of Nineveh will arise with this generation and condemn it, because at the preaching of Jonah they repented, and there is something greater than Jonah here." The Gospel of the Lord.
Let's put some things into context here for a minute. First, Jonah is sent to Nineveh. It's a city that, by estimates, is about 30 miles long. That's like driving from here to Andover, Massachusetts. Okay? So the city is about 30 miles long and about 10 miles wide, hugging the Mediterranean. Population estimates about up to 1 million, depending on which history book you read. As low as 600,000. A lot of people. Jonah goes on a 3-day journey, and they figure he probably covered a little less than 20 miles a day in his journey. So he walked about 60 miles on this missionary task of evangelizing. Add to the soup that Jonah hates Assyria because of what they have done to his country. It's almost like we might feel about what ISIS has done. And so after he announces 40 days and Nineveh will be destroyed. All of them, all the people of Nineveh were told, everyone, great and small, put on sackcloth. It's a sign of, it's a penitential dress. More uncomfortable than wearing purple during Lent. It's a penitential dress showing signs of repentance and seeking mercy. And even the king, not only does he put on sackcloth, but he puts on ashes. See, he might have been Catholic. And he proclaims a fast. And he says there should be a fast for man and beast alike, everyone in the empire. He's so committed to this, that everyone should be fasting so as to be converted. And not only to be converted, but he goes on to say, call out loudly to God. And we're told, according to the book of Jonah this morning, when God saw by their actions how they turned from their evil ways, he repented. This tells you something very, very profound about the power of God. Jesus says there's something greater than Jonah here. Yes, what's greater than Jonah is the vastness of God's mercy. Mercy for Jonah, who was stubborn, had anger issues, had to be convinced by a whale that he had to do what God wanted. He was so disobedient. And yet God continues to reach out to Jonah in his mercy a reluctant, angry, unforgiving prophet. And as the book progresses, he's even angry at God, and yet God finds a way to use him. And it's funny how God works that way. He's very efficient in exercising his mercy. He gets someone like Jonah to have the opportunity for deep inner healing concerning his anger issues, while he puts it on Jonah's heart, convincing him rather firmly that he needs to go preach this message even though he doesn't like it. Somehow God has an interesting way of putting a message in our own face, doesn't he? And then there's mercy for the Ninevites, these people who have been vicious and hateful toward the Israelites. It's God's mercy coming upon even our enemies. Boy, is there a message there. God's mercy for our enemies. God's mercy for the one we believe is unforgivable and evil. God's mercy even for those people. And this is not just about past in the Ninevite era, but it's about even present now in our own lives. And mercy coming from God, who one could say has the right not only to punish Jonah, but the right to punish the Ninevites. But at the plea for mercy, he relents. Though he has the right to punish people, he changes his heart. It's a message for us that if God can change his heart, we should be able to do it also, because he is holy and we're called to be holy as the Lord. And so when God saw their actions and how they turned from their evil ways, he repented. Yes, it seems like we can change God's mind. And so perhaps we shouldn't let our Lent and our devotions of Lent be simply task-oriented around doing all kinds of things. These things are good, but that shouldn't be the finitude of our Lent. Instead, maybe we should also include doing things that lead to a change of heart. A change of heart by God's mercy, opening to his grace. As God changes hearts over us every time, as God changes his heart over us every time we go to his mercy with sincerity in seeking his mercy, then over time, Lent may be for us a deepening change of heart, especially for even some of the most detestable, what we would consider brothers and sisters.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui